Hey there everyone, Rustic here with M Digital 2, and I'm back with yet another visual effects breakdown. And if you guys are here from that video, or if you haven't seen the video already or seen the thumbnail at least, I have yet another collaboration done with my good friend Rustic. This time we got to do a really funny skit based around the Grand Theft Auto video games. Honestly, it was a blast to work on with Rustic once again. By now you guys know the regular rhythm of this type of video. I usually do a before and after side by side of the video without its effect and with its effects, and afterwards we're in front of the computer already. Break down the some of my favorite VFX shots, and we're just gonna end it right there. Nevertheless, before we do, I just wanted to explain that though this video was shorter than the last one that we did, and a lot less complicated VFX wise, there was a couple new effects that I got to try that I was really excited about, and was a great learning experience, and I'm really thankful that I got the opportunity to work with my buddy once again. Nevertheless, let's get right into it.
Grove Street, home.
Hey! That's a nice looking vehicle you got. I like the color. Hey, I was meaning to ask you if I can take the car to the liquor store and maybe I'll bring it right back.
Wait, who are you?
I'm Jumpsuit Pauli. I run this place.
You're funny, dude.
I'm funny? Funny how?
No.
Do I look like a clown?
No,
Do I amuse you?
No, I meant more like...
Hey, forget about it.
Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot.
You're so right, Bruce. No.
Bastardo. Hey! Shh.
What? Why you vatos acting loco around here? He's trying to steal my baby.
Hey, it's a nice looking vehicle. Can you blame me?
You ride it, Sid? That is a nice looking ride.
Hey, 50-50 Holmes?
Yeah, I could do that.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Whoa. Kick his ass, ese.
He's good.
Thank you, Spooky.
Hey!
Surf's up, homie.
Be like water! Well, time to go to the beach!
Alright, so now that we're back, and we're sitting in front of the computer, like I said, I'm just gonna run through some of my favorite VFX shots. And though there wasn't as many as like last time with the Call of Duty parody video that we did, which was over 60 VFX shots. If you're interested in that, I'm probably gonna leave a link in the cards above, and of course there's a playlist dedicated to all the videos I've made, VFX before and after videos that you can check out later. But nevertheless, there was a couple effects that I was really happy about and really was a new technique that I got to use. I got to use what is essentially AI machine learning for like the Bruce Lee scene, or this really cool zoom in pan in effect using motion graphics instead of just trying to replicate everything within Blender or a CG element. I was just using 100% After Effects for this project aside from the Bruce Lee effect. But we're just going to switch to the computer screen. So now we're in front of the computer, and here I have the original Premiere file open, and as you guys know, the video opens up with us zooming in was essentially Los Santos, which, as everyone knows, is the fictional city that takes place in Grand Theft Auto 5 and I believe in Grand Theft Auto 3. And we have another one of my buddies here, Selwyn, marching in and everything like that, being all cool. But before that, this was a really fun effect to do, because what essentially, instead of just creating a 3D model of all these clouds and doing a render and everything like that, I was just able to take what is just 3 images from Google Maps, layer them on top of each other, one from each for each magnification, and actually I did like a little hit a lot of the mistakes with motion blur, but now you're probably going to see it now. And even this airplane was just a PNG that I made using Blender, and I'm thinking about starting a Patreon or a store page so you guys can download these things. But once again, if I'm going over these effects too fast, I highly recommend leaving a comment below saying, hey Sharier, I want to see you break down this one specific effect. But it was a pretty easy enough effect to do. And within After Effects, just layer on 3 layers, make them a 3D layer, and then you just zoom in with the camera. And here I actually took a random suburb area, tried to cut out all the trees and try to make some of the roads move and stuff like that, which is subtly what was unfortunately took too much time and probably nobody noticed. But you can actually see I recreated a 3D little dot image of the dune buggy from the next scene over. Now, moving over, we have Jumpsuit Pauli. This was a pretty fun graphic design that happens right here. I'm Jumpsuit Pauli. I love his accent. It was a pretty easy kind of like small little After Effects little template that I made. Of course, I used the Grand Theft Auto effects and whatnot. And then he gets my buddy Selwyn gets punched, and then he has an epiphany from Bruce Lee. Now, this effect was not as perfect that it should be, probably because it was a little bit complicated, and we were actually using film video that Bruce Lee did this interview for, you know, like it'd be like water and whatnot. And I was using this as a base. Now, I didn't use After Effects or motion or any, a lot of people were asking me if I used deepfakes. Well, I didn't use a deepfake. I used a different program called EB-Synth. EB-Synth, what is that? It's a synthesis program. It does machine learning, but it's not an AI-based kind of thing like deepfakes. And so I was able to basically take a frame from this photo and just paint keyframes. And what the program does is just try to emulate the video and tie it together and bridge things together, and creates a synthesis between both the painting of the video and painting or still image, and brings it into the matching. So what I did was just, instead of taking all of Bruce Lee's face, at first I really wanted to try doing all of Bruce Lee's face, but then it ended up looking garbage, and I didn't want to take any more time because this was actually a quick turnaround video, and it was a challenge on my behalf trying to get this. So what I ended up doing was tracking the mouth portion of Bruce Lee and just basically letting play and then track his mouth, and then basically, since it's just Bruce Lee's mouth essentially, it matched up pretty alright. Also, probably a subtle detail you probably didn't notice from the first viewing around is that he kind of like does like a smirk, which I really like. But that was kind of like a quick turnaround effect, and it was a different experience, and I hope to utilize this effect in the future. Now, moving on to the next effect. Nothing too hard or anything like that, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but each time Rustic, by the way, Rustic, I forgot to mention in the last couple videos, Rustic is the sole editor, director, and the guy who literally acts in these videos or does the direction. I just come in and just wave my magical VFX wand all over it. Oh my gosh. My VFX knowledge all over it. Yeah, awkward jokes aside, every single time these UI elements appear, they're actually an homage to each of the individual Grand Theft Auto video games. So for example, we have San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is overlay, so here. And if you didn't notice it before, but the UI, the mini map actually moves into tune with where the camera's looking. And that was San Andreas. We had like a miniature map, and I actually made these all up from in-game screenshots and brought them back into Adobe Illustrator and actually made them. And then basically animated them within After Effects using the controller. Now, like I said earlier, I'm planning on doing a Patreon page or some place where you guys can actually help support me and find templates. So if your future project needs one of these, of course you can email me directly or DM me via Instagram or Twitter if you need a VFX guy. You know me, you can reach out anytime for a collaboration. But aside from that, if you're pretty well versed with After Effects, I'm gonna be uploading a really cool template later on. Definitely keep an eye on that on my Instagram and my Twitter. Now moving on, here's another UI element. This one I Grand Theft Auto 4, so another one of my favorite Grand Theft Autos, and Rustic wanted a boxing glove in the corner and everything. And so this was kind of like as a homage to Nico, who is like a European descent, kind of like you follow that guy in the protagonist. So I kind of wanted the sweatsuit guy to be very much influenced by the Grand Theft Auto 4 series, so which is why the UI looks quite similar to that game. And then we have, of course, again, notice the mini map actually moves in time, and you can actually see the enemy dot and the friendly player, which is we have Ben Sanchez here, doing the same thing as well. So it moves in time with the camera, perfectly tracked in. And I really love doing this effect a lot. Of course, amazing choreography and direction from Rustic and his team. Another one of my favorite scenes is when the Cholo guy, or Ben here, he looks at the sky and then he just sees a wolf, his spirit wolf, speak to him. Spooky. I really like doing this effect. It was really subtle. But it was interesting. It was kind of hard to track because it was just nothing but sky. I should have taken the time to erase this jet, but then again, I think I added to the composition, and I had to track the wolf, and I really like how the clouds separate. Totally forgot I did that. And then you just see Spooky just kind of echo in, echo out, and just kind of like, and he's like, "Thank you, Spooky." I love that. But initially I wanted Sweatsuit Pauli here to fall over, and then like in Grand Theft Auto, the little cash, little money stacks just pop out of the character in the classic Grand Theft Auto games. But we ran out of time, couldn't track or anything like that. Now, this scene right here, oops, it looks like my dynamic link didn't come through, but I'll probably play a clip on top. This clip was also inspired by Grand Theft Auto 5 specifically. What I wanted to emulate mostly was the slow down effect when you're switching between weapons. I really wanted to do that instead, and so I created that once again in Adobe Illustrator, and I think I did a pretty good job with the color grading as well. I think I did a pretty good job emulating the background blurring and the color changing slightly and then coming back in, animating that in. And then this is another shot right here. This was more or so leftover VFX from another one of the VFX videos that I did with Rustic, where it's an anime boxing fight. Hits his hands together and sparks fly out. That's actually just a reference to the other video, and I just recycled the assets from there. And then this was another one of my favorite parts. Of course, who can ignore the Grand Theft Auto 5 double wasted effect. I kind of tried to emulate the zoom in and the slow motion, of course, the text turning from red to white, everything turning black and white, and of course the slight shimmer. I see a lot of people do this effect, but they kind of mess it up and just easily drag and drop in a blue tint or a monochromatic palette, which honestly kind of takes you out. You wanted to get the zoom in, and then the glare, and then of course we end with Selwyn getting 5 stars, but somehow, as if you've ever played Grand Theft Auto Online, it gets erased all the time. Well, thanks for making it this far. That pretty much brings us to end this video. Before you go, I highly recommend leaving a comment below, letting me know if there's a specific effect you want to see from the video that you want me to cover. Not from this video. If it's not from this video, it could be any other visual effects from your favorite movie, comic book, video game even. I'm willing to feature your comment in the next video. Also, if you haven't done so already, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button, hitting that notification bell. One of my goals this year is to grow this channel and grow all my other channels. So I highly recommend checking out all the links below. Follow me on my social media platforms. And without further ado, this is Shar Mr. Feast signing out.